When you see this video, it means I've completed the entire Web3 crash course. Part 2, the development part of Solana. At this point, recording this introduction video feels more relevant, because creating this entire tutorial series was also a process of self-learning and review for me. I personally experienced the journey from knowing nothing. Over time, I successfully created my own Solana programs. I also fulfilled the requirements provided by my boss. What do you need to master? How can you create your desired Solana project in the shortest time while mastering the fewest key concepts? I'll share all of this with you in this video without holding anything back. I'll show you how I mastered Solana development during this time.
Hi, crypto isn't just for programmers. And on this channel, I'll help you transform from a newbie to a seasoned Web3 pro. If you're interested in this content, make sure to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. But if you want to thrive in the Web3 market for the long haul, the best way is to level up your skills and become a Web3 app developer. Visit our homepage, and I'll guide you step by step. First, before we dive into coding, it's crucial to let go of conventional thinking and approach this with a blank slate. If you have prior development experience, it's even more important to set it aside because Solana's development logic is quite different from many other languages. For example, in most cases, we think of storing certain data on the chain as simply assigning it to a variable. However, in Solana, data isn't stored in a field. It's stored in an account, which ties into Solana's counterintuitive concept of PD as program-derived addresses. You need to grasp this concept first, or it will be challenging to move forward. We have a dedicated video that explains the 10 major types of accounts in Solana, with a special focus on the PDA concept. Once you've grasped some basic concepts, the next step is to understand what programming language and framework Solana smart contracts are built with. Unlike Ethereum and other EVM-based chains, you don't need to learn a new blockchain-specific language like Solidity. Instead, you can use traditional programming languages like Python or Rust. However, when searching for resources online, you'll notice that most Solana development is done using Rust. Initially, I tried to learn Rust, but quickly realized that the learning curve is steep, making my progress slow. Fortunately, I came across the Seahorse framework, which allows us to use Python for Solana development. This eliminates the need to learn a new programming language, since Python has a much lower learning curve. You only need about an hour to get familiar with basic syntax and variable types, which is enough to get started. So, you don't really need to spend time specifically learning Python. You'll be able to understand the code we go over next without being a Python expert. By getting familiar with the various functions and calls in the Seahorse framework, you'll be able to create your own Solana smart contracts. Next, once you know how to create a basic Solana on-chain program, you'll realize that your application doesn't have a front-end interface or buttons to interact with or display information. At this point, you'll need to move on to using a dependency library, like Anchor, to build a front-end web page and connect it to the blockchain. The Solana ecosystem offers two classic libraries for this purpose, Solana Web3.js and Solana SPL token. These two libraries provide all the functionality needed for a project, and they even come with command line tools. So, even if you don't know how to code, you can still interact with the blockchain by entering commands, such as creating tokens or uploading images. However, it's better to interact with the blockchain through code. Once you understand how to do this, you can create all kinds of scripts, like automating token swaps, connecting with other projects and applications, and developing various scientist scripts, whether it's for sniping airdrops, copying trades, or executing other advanced strategies. If you can integrate front-end code, you can even create a web interface for your tool or application and connect it to a wallet. Now, the two libraries I just mentioned can be a bit cumbersome to use. In our upcoming course videos, we'll specifically teach you how to use Anchor as a replacement for Solana Web3.js and Solana SPL token. These libraries might require 10 lines of code, whereas with the Anchor framework, you can achieve the same results with just one line, significantly reducing your development time. You'll see this in action later. However, Anchor can't fully replace everything, so there are still some pieces where you'll need to use Solana SPL token. That's why it's important to understand all three before diving into that. So, you'll need a basic understanding of JavaScript and HTML, the fundamental languages of front-end development. You don't need to be an expert, just the basics will do. There are plenty of free videos online to help you with this, and on our website, we've included some great videos from other creators in the Web3 learning blueprint we've shared with you. The content is very concise, and you can get a basic grasp in just an hour. And again, you don't need to master it, just having a working knowledge is enough. Next comes experience. Many people think that learning Web3 development is just about learning a programming language, but that's not entirely true. To successfully build your Solana blockchain project or Solidity-based Web3 project on either the code itself isn't the most important thing. What's crucial is developing a sense of project awareness and studying other people's code. You need to look at a lot of existing projects to understand how they work and to cultivate an understanding of how to structure and approach your own projects. Let me put it another way. Imagine your boss says that you need to develop a Solana blockchain game. The game involves purchasing lumberjacks who can go into the forest to chop wood. When you click to leave the forest, it takes 3 days for the lumberjacks to return to the base camp. Meanwhile, the lumberjacks generate wood continuously based on their number. Your task is to build this kind of functionality into the game. At this moment, a light bulb should go off in your mind. You should immediately recognize that the lumberjacks are an unfractional token. The forest represents staking, and the wood is a reward token, which is also essentially a token. A 3-day period to leave the forest is a release period for UNS staking. From the perspective of the smart contract, this boils down to developing the tokens in the staking system. The entire code might not even exceed 50 lines. So, while learning is important, you shouldn't just keep your head down and plow ahead. You also need to look up and see what's going on, study other people's projects and their code. Understand how Web3 projects are evolving. What the latest trends are, and think about how you would write the code if it were up to you. If you want to systematically learn Solana on their own EVM project development, make sure to follow our channel to learn more related techniques. If you'd like to join our community, you can also visit our website, where you'll find links to our groups. See you soon.